Come and get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gael the Caribbean. Good evening, all. Welcome to 5.8G Alive, brought to you by Connections 50 Plus. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus. And with me, as usual, my friend.
Hi, everyone. Good evening and welcome. I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, the other co-creator of Connections 50 Plus.
Good. Jennifer, how you going? How's August has started? We've done emancipation and we're still in emancipation and we're going forward. How has it been? How has it been?
It was nice. I didn't actually, normally every year, as I said, I love going down to the parade on that day. I didn't, but I enjoyed all the different, watching it on television. It was really, really, looked to me beautiful. I just like to see my people enjoy themselves, even sometimes raining, and they just had a good time.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad everything went well, and from all reports, it was quite successful.
Yeah. For me, I looked at a lot of it on the YouTubers and stuff like that. I don't think the crowds were as big as they normally are, but I think that may have to do with our political situation and whatever it is. But one of the things, Jennifer, that I am optimistic about, and I think it flows through our discussions from last week. When the Prime Minister spoke about the initiatives that they are partnering with the Emancipation Support Committee to do, the review of the curriculum to make sure that African history is presented in a positive way. As they say, it didn't start with slavery. When they talked about developing grants for our creatives in dramology and so on, I am really looking forward to the Emancipation Support Committee working as a pressure group to make sure those promises are delivered and to see the fruit from them, So I really, really do think that that's an opportunity that can, as you said last week, we have to start a different approach to building this tribe. We said change your algorithm. So I think that was something that positively came out, in addition to, of course, the celebration of the day, that there will be something durable going forward. And I look forward to that. Definitely do.
I'm always hopeful because, support, the thing about it, and as you said, we wait and see, because this is, we talk about it.
Wait. I think they need to act as a pressure group. Don't wait.
While we wait and see, because this is, to me, it's not new. It has been talked about. I actually know some years back where at that time the Ministry of Community Development, and they actually gave scholarships to creatives. Etc. But we're moving forward and hope there's a lot more to be done, and that is actually going to happen. As you said, if the push is right, if they
I think they should become a pressure group and not just what they are, which is they need to raise their whole profile. Just raise your profile and be activist. Be more activist towards your goal, and take people up on their word and really push forward now to represent Afro Trinidadian and Trinbagonian and Afro-Caribbean person. So, but Jennifer, we are moving on, and many of you all would have seen our promo for our independence event. We are all now coming from emancipation style into independence style. So today we are talking about style, fashion, wardrobe, trends, male, female, all in the lead up to our soiree. And Jennifer, who best to join us to have this discussion?
Yeah, you know, famous stylists. And Richard, you have seen Richard a lot in the during the emancipation in terms of the fashion show that he did. He had some really, really informative interviews on television. And we're always happy to have Richard supporting us, especially on an occasion like this, where you get these, to be part of our story.
Great. So let's get talking about style and fashion and wardrobe and trends for men and women. Let's enjoy Richard. Great. So, listeners, you know this face. This is our dear friend, the person who is responsible for the look and branding and a lot of the branding of Connections 50 Plus together with Zara Gibbons, Richard Young. And you all would have been hearing about our soiree at the end of the month. But to help us warm up into this soiree, we decided we're going to have a topic, a discussion, and none better than Richard. Richard, forwards, style, fashion, trends, wardrobe. You know, I look at things and I say how we use those words can be intertwined, and then how we use those as tools to project ourselves to the world can be so complicated and complex. How do you respond to that?
Well, all of them sometimes. Hi, everybody. And hi, Jen. They are interchangeable. I think almost like if you're doing script more than in the spoken word, because in the spoken word it becomes more palpable and it becomes more tactile. And so therefore one has to be careful when one says it and one is doing definitions of it. Style is something that each one of us has. It's in our DNA to interpret the fashion ethos of the time or to interpret what they feel they need to project. They're very Afro-conscious women who always wear African prints and thing all year round. And I find that to be very proud and very beautiful because you have made a statement about who you are projecting, but it's about projecting. And then you have style that is influenced by the occasion, where you are at a particular time. It's influenced by the person you're going to greet or meet. So all of that, it's interpreted by the climate. So there are a lot of influences and indicators that determine what you should wear. So that is where all of them are interchangeable. All that is interchangeable with all of them is that it's something that you wear. Mm-hmm. After that, it starts to move in a different direction. Style is when you give it some individualism. It has to look like who I am, where I come from, the influences and inspirations in my life, my family history, traditions in my family, and that's the style that you emanate. And when you are stylish like that, you bounce some of the trends that are passing and infuse it in what you want to project, but you don't stay limited. Because when you stay limited in fashion, it's a fad. And that's a lesser word down the chart because it's just almost trending for the day or for a time, a short transient period. I really feel style is when you walk in a room and you command attention. Because, you know, and I remember I always told Jen that she always had style. She always had style. When we did all those wardrobe things, I was working with a stylish woman. And I was just giving her an alternative way to do her styling. But she already had interesting accessories. And sometimes you could get confused when you have a lot, right? And I also believe less is more, even though maximalism is also part of the new trend with an opulence, which works with the Afro vibe because you have a head tie and you have a gauntlet or a bangle and a big neck piece, and it's very imposing, you know? So style excites me because I think a famous stylist said style is perennial and fashion fades or fashion changes. And so I am more interested in the style development, style sensibility. You just make choices based on what exists, prevailing ethos or not. You know, so you can just want to channel 50s or you want to channel a 70s look. And then you can use multiple things. You don't have to be all the way across. You don't have to be 70s, but let me go and put on let me go and have an afro and let me wear a bell-bottom pants. You can wear the afro and have a tapered pants. You can mix the decades. You can mix it. And then because you need to be comfortable as well. So style is about comfort as well. You know, and well, some people, they say discomfort is beauty. And so they live in that world. Pain is beauty. So if they want to effect a look or an image and it means being a little uncomfortable, they're going after it. And there are a lot of us, a lot more people than you care to admit are those people. You know, because that is what encourages
you see them with the shoes in their hand halfway through the
yes. Or they're standing with a squint because the corset is too tight. And they're looking over pensive and contemplative, and it's because they want. I went out once with a friend of mine, and she said, I can't take it. And I said, what's happening? We had a carnival fete. She said, I can't take it. I said, but you look fabulous. She said, that's the problem. I need to go to the washroom now because I have to take it out because I'm 3 sizes smaller and I need to breathe and I want to eat. So sometimes, you know, the agony of creating a look is too much for somebody. Others who live in that agony. In fact, they think that if you're not in agony, you're not stylish. So you see, we have these bipolar opposites on this continuum of style appreciation and style expression. One wants to suffer for the art, as they say, and the other one wants to just be comfortable. So it varies, and I'm always fascinated by it. There's another thing that I will dare to say here. There's some people in our cohort, and hear me using the word "are" very, very, embracingly, in our cohort that feel that, and particularly if they're intellectually inclined, have a tendency of thinking, because of my intellectual high point, that's enough. And to me, I meet them and they are not as finished as they can be. And I have a challenge with that. You know, the hair isn't on point as well because they think with the fabulous language it's going to cover for everything, or the intellectual stimuli that they're creating is enough. But the visual is important, and it's not that you're pretentious. It's not about pretension. So we have always been embellishers of our human frame from tribal society. So don't get on like that as being superficial and artificial. That's it. The men and women of tribal society role-played with their wearing of things. They wore accessories. They create parades and pageants and ceremonies for their successes. And it was always a dressing up. So it's foolhardy when I'm hearing those kinds of thinking, you know, and it interferes with my trusting you. This is my belief. If my trusting you has to be the worth of what you're saying, but the look that you think I need to be comfortable with what you have crafted for me to be presented, what you are presenting to me. And if you think that it's not important to present a certain look, it interferes with my trust in all of the fabulousness you say. You know, and I always tell people that when I don't do it's an extra acute sense I have for that. Just yesterday, we went to screen delegates for the Miss World pageant. And, you know, and this is not to bash young ladies. And so you're coming to be screened.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with, I'm not really in fashion. I don't wear high heel shoe. I don't know. You have to actually ask a friend who have it, your neighbor, know you look a little stylish or going for a screening. Tell me what I should do. Pull my hair in one, put on a loud lipstick or a soft lipstick. You have a shoe I could borrow for me to look a little elegant. There has to be something. You can't just turn up and think that speaking fabulously is enough. Because, and it's not about promoting beauty pageants as cattle shows or it's diminishing humans. It is about presenting inner and outward beauty for us all to appreciate. So there are things to do, you know, and a little Vaseline in your lip, even if you don't have lip gloss, you know. Something that says, I'm presenting. I'm interested in presenting an enhanced image of me to you for us to communicate.
Yeah.
And that's why I see style. So that's why I make an effort. And then the effort goes further now. The effort goes that you need to see about your body, probably by exercise, eat healthily, improve the maintenance of your skin, since your skin is the thing that everybody interfaces with. So cleaning it or moisturizing it or something. So it's all nice and it's part of a regimen. I know, and this is not going into calling anybody ugly or anything like that. Because as long as you take care of yourself, and I see that care of self, I want to associate with you. I want to associate with this person who is imparting style and looks like they self-manage. That's a good person to be with, you know?
Good. Jennifer, you had a thought.
No, Richard said a lot there. And Richard, I want to split it, if we can, respond in the sections. Because there's a lot of areas you touch on.
Yeah.
But I want to focus on my age group, our cohort, right? And you said many things that really, I mean, applicable to us. Now, I want to start with the scene. You know, sometimes we be out there and you may hear the term referred to as somebody older saying, oh gosh, why she have to look like a bag lady like that? You know, she could look better than that. Or on the other side, you might say, oh gosh, boy, you know, just wait, she could fix her hair. She don't have to stay back in the 50s. Those type of, you know, comments, which is negative. But if I chat with a person who they refer to maybe as a bag lady or what, they will tell you, well, I'm not into fashion, you know. This is how I am. I don't have to please anybody with my look, etc., etc. But I want to ask you this, Richard. Is it that some people just don't have style, or is it that they just they're lacking, even if they're highly intelligent, they're lacking some sort of self-esteem? Well, let me answer that, because this is a two-in-one.
Yeah. I think that because I'll start by saying I'm seeing some people who are simpletons. But in their simple choices, you still see the management of a look, and therefore that's a style. It's minimalism. They don't wear loud makeup. They keep their hair neat. They probably lose a little soft color in the lip, if at all. They wear silhouettes that are clean and linear, but it's style. It's like classic style. So yes, Jen, the ones who just throw on layers of clothes and look like a bag lady, it's because of self-esteem issues. And they think that layering what might be considered a bigger body than they really, because what those people have, they are the ones more so with an ideal of what is acceptable, you know. They are the one who's saying there is an ideal that I don't represent, so let me cover up because I can't match to the ideal. You have to, the ideal is you doing your best with what you have. You saw? And so that is all across the ages. And another one of the things with the cohort that we are in here is age appropriateness, which is a real term.
When they talk
Because
about why you dress your age, you're dressing young or you're dressing old.
You can't be in a spandex mini dress. And spandex is very unflattering if your body is not, if you are not into a calisthenic life, I like to call it, or seeing about keeping your body toned and so, you know? So therefore you dress to suit what I like to call pulchritude that we have. We all have these little edges and handles on our body, you know? And so therefore you dress it. You dress it respectfully, you know, and you shouldn't go out into the world thinking like, I am not the ideal and therefore my self-esteem is lower and therefore I'm just approximating. We have to get rid of that. All of that to me is in the psyche of post-colonial living, that we always approximate another ideal. And the ideal is always a first world and I dare say white culturing. So therefore, it makes it really challenging for people who are non-white, which is the larger percentage of the world, to feel in their fullest potential, because the bodies that are on the cover of a magazine are ideal people who are even further idealized because they are photoshopped. So they are unreal. And now they've just discovered a lot of the models that they are putting out now are AI models. So it is unreal humans. They don't even look like they have pores on their skin. Their waistlines look like your floating rib is taken out. What I find, and I don't want to use the word farcical, but it comes to mind because, you know, I see things in comic light. People look at a lean size 4 thing, like 4 outfit, and they are older and they're a size 14. And they say, I want one of those. They are not looking at a silhouette on another size 14 person. They are looking at a silhouette of a size 4 person and say, I want one of those. Put it on, and then you can see when they fit, they're angling to try to look like the size 4. And you're seeing the depression coming on because it's not looking the way they want it to look. But you are not wearing an item that was even designed with your frame, even though they make them in the sizes because they are just doing marketing. There is clothing that would suit you better and still make you look sexy, because in the female context, a lot of times people still want to look sexy.
Yeah.
Right? Whether Freud is right in saying all our actions are sexually motivated or whatever. And sexy can have variations of meaning, you know? But you can look sexy and still look desirable and still feel beautiful in clothing that is not sucking at the waist, rounding over the hip, squeezing on the chest, you know? So
Richard,
yeah, those
as you're on that theme, I want to go into two things that you've been involved in recently. As you talk about us, and I'm drawing on the fact that we're in the middle of August, and August anchors 2 very important things for us. It's emancipation at the start for Afro-Trinidadians and independence at the end for all of us, this multicultural melting pot that we are, this freedom from colonialism. And you managed and produced the Iwa Africa fashion show for the Emancipation Support Committee for this year. And I have to commend you. It was excellent. And I adored your choice of our cohort amongst your models. I see the group is expanding with one of our followers, Median Mahon.
Yes.
It was beautiful. But you also had an interview on the Now program. You were talking about the African aesthetic in style and how it influences fashion. And I would also add the Indo aesthetic in because those are our two main streams. And you're just talking about style appropriate, not clutching the breast, cinching the hip. And how do you see us as, and I'm talking about our cohort, the mature cohort, do you see us understanding and appreciating that very vast palette that we can draw from to create our style? And I mean, there were beautiful ideas presented in EU Africa, but how do you see us taking ourselves and our histories and creating something to present to the world as us?
Well, I think it is, like I work with pageant girls, and one of the things that I tell them in their crafting of their platforms is if you can impact one person even at a time, you would have done something. So to start with that premise gives me a sense of assurance that we can move the needle and turn the dial. So that when I do a show like EU Africa, when I get to do a talk like TG asked me to come on to talk, when I did like Caribbean Passport and they asked me to talk about fashion, it is reaching somebody. And I get the responses in strange ways. I remember I jumped into cars after I did talks like at ABS in Antigua or NCN in Guyana, and I'm taking a taxi. And they said, I heard the conversation and I never thought about it in the way you just presented it. And so that made me have a smile, and I was warmed for the day. My heart was warm because it meant that somebody heard and they understood. Because in the fashion world, there is a very superfluous way of presenting that you see on the snippets on social media that everybody is like, oh my God, it's playing a diva and there's a sachet and a shanty and a swagger without really representing somebody. It looks like it's all fake and they're having Prosecco in the backstage and it doesn't make, you don't understand your role even as a model, which is to merchandise the look that somebody imaginatively came up with based on them being inspired, and it loses all of that. It goes into a very superfluous space. So any opportunity and chance I get, like even talking with you all, is a chance to just pique the interest of somebody who is a listener or a viewer to say, but I can understand this. I can align with this thinking and therefore shift them into making a statement about style that they would have already possessed, but just felt it was not valuable because
from your ancestors, your grannies.
Yes. Yes.
How they wrap their hair to go and pray,
Yes.
to go and wash, how they put on their orni, how
yes, yes, as homage to them,
Yes.
because the part of style is its practicability and its practicality, and it's culturally pushed. So sometimes, sometimes you see people wearing hijabs and you're saying, but the place hot and how they're wearing. And it is just about your acceptance of self. And they are not hot and those hijabs. It is all a cultural manifestation, and it's all in your brain, basically. And so there are days like today, I just have on a t-shirt. When I'm going to go out there, I might just throw a jacket on it and square my shoulders because I know I'm going to come out to speak to somebody that I regard as important, and I want them to know that I regard them as important, so therefore my shoulders are squared. So they respond to me differently, as opposed to if I just turn up in a t-shirt and a jeans. So all of that, it's a manipulation of perception for a winsome outcome, as is what fashion and style is about. It is not just about being hot and being what is not and what is hot. I've been asked to do those programs, and I've declined them because it's not that. I think it has to be a sense of selfhood. And this aligns beautifully with the individualism and the sense of the state of independence that we're going to celebrate, because that's where it starts. In each one of us, it starts there. And collectively, it moves to a sovereign space. And so that sovereignty and that individualism and that state of selfhood is where the pride is in the styling of self. And therefore, it lends what you will call the prestige to the collective. That those people, because people do regard us that way when you hear them even from Northern Caribbean, Trinidadians, real stylish boy. When we bringing people here to film, we did Carnival Catwalk the other day. The foreign designers came in and said, wow, the people in Trinidad are real stylish boy. And we did Caribbean Next Top Model, and we brought in people, the same thing they said. And they just talking based on a cursory glance passing down the streets or going into a restaurant area or going into the mall. There is a consciousness of presenting. And so therefore I think it's worth more research and discussion. But to go to what Jen is saying, I think that beside being inappropriate in terms of age, and that is still to be determined because it could be moderated to some degree, because a woman who has kept her body well can want to show a little form, but as long as it's tastefully done, because I know some 70-something-year-olds, and we had Sharon in Butt model in Iwa, Africa, and she's 75. I can say it because she proudly states it, and I didn't give her anything that was lewd, but there was things that had a
wonderful backless dress, and I looked at
yes,
the and I said,
backless
I want
dress,
a back like that.
yeah, and a deep cleavage,
yeah.
But it's a tasteful thing, So yeah, we had my sister even modeled in Iwa, Africa, and she's and Median modeled, and then I had Nicole Dyer model, and I had Gisela Ron model. So I'm opening up the appreciation of our beauty, not only in the age, but the size.
Yes.
Because the thing is that it's important. Yes, Jen?
I would like you to include this when, as you spoke about the models and our age group too. I see it so important, in addition with the style, what we'll call maybe the dress, what you wear. I think it's so important in how you wear it. And when I say how you wear it, poise is so important to me to bring out that style. And some of us may find, I have problem with walking, I can't walk properly, or I don't know how to sit up straight, that sort of thing. Could you touch a bit on how we at this cohort, in spite of whatever little aches or pains or whatever thing we may have, that we can still carry ourselves with some sort of, as I say, poise?
Beautiful, beautiful comment, and I'll do a shameless plug here that the Young Guild at the shops of Maraval, which have just opened, is a space for this development and this awareness. And I do it in a fun way. So it's not a teachy, didactic, learny thing, but it's a self-awareness. And that's where the confidence is. If you come to see the young cohorts that I'm going to release, they are now able to come up and say, I am Richard Young. I believe in so-and-so. I live so-and-so. And they couldn't say a line before. It's just an awareness of self, how to sit better. And now, that's what you do. And then all of a sudden, the pain of sitting that way or the pain of standing more erect just diminishes, because you celebrate this new perception that you have crafted, and you see the response from the onlookers and the viewers and the bystanders look across or sometimes comment to you. You have style, you have poise, you carry yourself well, and that makes not only the day, the year, because you went into a zone of trying to make a difference, and the difference was seen and heard and said to you, which is what all of them. One of the girls moved to a prefect already because she was with the thought and the kind of mind, but ashamed and low self-esteem, and she's moved into that. Another one is has become like an activist in her youth groups in her school. She's 18 years old, and it's just because you're going in with this added value. So yes, in our cohort, a lot of times probably people to listen, and that's why I'm looking forward to our little program to share that, to talk as an insight of, yeah, this is the beginning of the rest of your life. And it is never about the end of your life. It's the beginning of the rest of your life. And you can go into it with enthusiasm and aplomb and say, this is what I'm going to feel like moving forward. And this is what I'm going to make people feel around me. So, yeah.
So, Richard, what I'm hearing is that we could also look forward to some coaching from you.
Yeah.
How we are wanna keep harping on our age group, right? Because I'm very interested in this. To help us, I mean, I know you have your young models, of course, but to help us to appreciate the stage we are on and make the best of it.
Yes, the making the best of. I tell people it is a confrontation, and it's a situation you have to grapple with. So people see me and I look like I'm bursting with confidence. I do have low times. Sometimes I just get up and I don't feel as fabulous as people think I am. I don't even feel as fabulous as I want to be, or I think I am at times. And I have less times feeling I'm fabulous. But I do have the awareness of how to project it so that it will influence others, transform the space, transform others, and make us move forward positively. So that I have, whether it's a gift, my awareness of that precedes and supersedes the times when I go down. But the time when you're going down is human. We all have it. So that other assumption, I think, is also negated. That we are humans, we feel terror, we feel fear, we feel low times, we feel high times. Is a combination of all. But the way to move and navigate through it is a sharing, storytelling and sharing with each other. And then you say something that hits home, bonk. I feel exactly what he is saying or she is saying. And that's how he managed it. I'm going to see if I can try that way. And that's it. And that's all that we are in this civilization, is to share stories and use your expertise because of what you curated in your lifetime to help others. And that is what I think I'm going to do. And I always like to work with you all and with the group that we represent. I mean, you all have brought me into a self-confessing space of the cohort that I am part of. And now I'm not seeing it superficially at all. I'm seeing it actually with authenticity, that you can make a difference, and a sense of identity. I believe in that word. And that word is an alignment with the independent state that we are in as a nation. It has to do with identity, and that's what I feel that I carry.
You said something just now where how you carry yourself and what we wear, how we wear it. If we understand what is in our wardrobe, and I want to bring in that word now because we understand style, we understand fashion, we understand trend, and a lot of people think that I have to go out there and get this thing. But as you have done long ago with me, and you've done recently on the show with Jennifer, what is in your wardrobe is the accumulation of your life. And we can, if our mind is in the right place, take that and turn it around. And I say this because you said how you dress influences how others see you. But for so many of us, I believe the first audience we have to dress for is ourselves. Stand in front of the mirror, dress yourself up, and look at that person and be proud and happy with who and what you see. And I believe because I've seen you do it, we can go into that wardrobe without spending a cent on Amazon or down the road and repurpose, recreate, and style ourselves and put a smile on our own faces for that, but that as the end.
Yeah, because
That is so important.
the achievement of creating a new style out of old stock is a sense of fulfillment by itself. But it belongs in the drive to sustainable fashion talks and the discussion now about sustainable fashion, where you need to upcycle, recycle, reuse, and reduce, because fashion is in the top 3 pollutants in the world.
Yeah.
And so therefore the way for us to navigate around that is like, I do that. I wear things that would have been the overshirt. I probably dye it in some plant dyes, and I wear it as an undershirt with a jacket. And I change the color of it totally, from a white shirt to an avocado green. And people say, my God, where did you get that shirt? It was so fabulous. That color takes you. And you are creating this ecosystem around you with your wardrobe selections that you already have, and not wearing the predictable ways that you would have used it. That's all part of the excitement, the excitement of presenting your alternative looks. I even teach a little makeup, and that's how I tell people to do makeup. Makeup must be, what do I feel like today? Do I want it to be whimsical? You know what? I'm just going to do a very clean face and a bold brown lip for a lady who is in a professional space, but is not feeling too much. And you just go with a bold lip and a very clean, either foundation or powder and an eyeliner. And people come up to you and say, oh my God, you look stunning. And you did less that day. You took all the hair off your face and you just cleaned it up and made the lip talk. And another day you go and you put a little bronzy something by your eye, and then you downplay the lip for it to look a little like watermelon lips. So it's almost like you just ate fruit, and you leave the eye with a bold color, and that's the day. And you get responses from people that way because you feel good when you say, as you say, look in the mirror before you leave, and then you see the responses from people. They're engaged by who you have presented. You have preceded who you are before they start communicating with you verbally. And so that's what I think style is about. And that's the importance
of mirrors. We can't be afraid of mirrors.
Yeah. But sometimes I see people and I think all their mirrors are broken at home.
And that's the point, how do we see ourselves, and there's always beauty in us, how we walk, how we talk, how we laugh, how we dress, whatever we put on, and it can always be tweaked and changed if we just understand what we want to project and who we want to project it to.
Yes, Richard, as I said, at this stage, we're saying stage, but many of us women, and I don't want to touch on the men right now, I'll leave you to comment on that, feel that they no longer want this heavy makeup. Some of us have never even used makeup before. But I still think we all want to, even if you want a clean look, you want to look nice and face to be smooth. Let me hear your views on that in terms of how we prepare our skin.
Yeah, and we don't have to do textbook makeup. That's another thing that I realize people put contour, concealer. You don't need all of that. That is more stagecraft, if you ask me. All you need to do is to kind of conceal some of the blemishes, and that has evolved. What is considered a blemish? Because at one time freckles were considered ugly, and now freckles are beautiful. And so you just need to have an even kind of skin tone, whether it's your natural skin tone or enhanced with a foundation or a little powder. And it doesn't mean that you have to, the old style of makeup was use your face like a canvas, they say. So they used to plaster on makeup and you lose all your features and then you draw it back on. And then you draw on the desired feature, which is an almond-shaped eye, a leaner nose bridge, poutier lip, and therefore they would extend the lip line bigger than your real lip. You just work with what you have, you know? And sometimes you just have to, like there are dark circles under the eye that kind of considered universally as not so attractive. So that is what you could hide up a little bit. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to powder down all the rest of the face. You see? So that's how I tell people. It's just little touch things that you do to even it out, accentuate, make sure your eyebrows look either plucked, clean, trimmed, a little more demarcated than normal. Particularly in our cohort, you have gray eyebrows, whether you want to embrace it or not. Because I don't recommend plucking out your gray eyebrows. If eyebrows are your eyebrows, you pluck them out, you end up with none. And so you just enhance your eyebrow. I believe in an eyeliner, but not a full eyeliner, I will say. An eyeliner like to the corners of your eye, just a little touch to give definition, more than you lying in your eye like you're trying to be Ashwarya Rai. No, it's not that, like a kohl pencil. It's not that, it's just the edges. Mascara is good, not even a deep mascara, not even a deep, wet, sticky mascara, just literally, and you use one that you're reading things that says it's good for the lash growth and lash health. And so you just brush it up to widen your eye. It's literally for those reasons. And I don't necessarily believe in blush because blush is that's a fake concept to us. We don't get pink when we think of exciting things. We don't even get crimson. So now blush is a different thing. So the blushes now come in all forms. There are warm tones of orange browns. And so it's more about highlighting the cheekbone more than representing the blush of some romantic, idyllic swooning story. It's not that. And then the lip could be defined based on what you want. And I think in the fast-paced world of professional women or even women who are in retirement, unless it is a particular event you're going to the Hyatt or there's some kind of gala, a softer lip is better, you know, a more natural lip, I would say. And those who are a little Afro-conscious, they can use little browns with a little bronze. Some people even go as bold as aubergine, you know, that kind of grape color, because that works beautifully on darker skins. And all skins, I really think so. It's just the application, I really believe, is how it's applied. Because all shades of skin can use all the colors. And that's how the face should be. And the more important thing is that you need to clean your skin. The famous cleanse, tone, moisturize. And you don't even know to do all three. You need to clean it and moisturize it because moisture is what makes the skin look better further down the road. So that if people tell me I have good skin, I was moisturizing when I had seemingly perfect skin, I would be going to sleep moisturizing. So were you oiling on your face so far? Well, that's what worked for now because moisture is taken out of your face with your normal daily chores. You're sweating it out. The sun takes it out. So I have applied moisture. Moisture is what keeps tonicity and elasticity. So I would imagine that might be what kept my skin in good stead. And one can still start it in this cohort in readiness for 20 years down, you know? So it's about maintenance and you must find a joy in the maintenance because if it is a chore, you don't feel good about it, you know? Some of us have beards, some females have beards, and unless you want to proclaim that as a natural woman, that this is a natural thing, but if you don't, you remove it, you tweeze it away, you do whatever you need to do, because I am not going to necessarily say, because it's also culturally relevant now. You know, some people could say, that's what is happening to me. I am an older women have beards. I am not going to be shaving and having a shaving issue and shaving bumps turning up on my life. But if not, you can tweeze them away. I tweeze away my mommy's beard and her little whiskers by her lip. And she feels good about it. And you hear the response when I carry her to church. I do a little touch when she's going to church, a little foundation around her eyes, a little soft lipstick. And everybody says, oh God, Miss Young, you're getting younger. And I feel I did it. I did it, you know?
Yeah.
The care is manifest. And that's what I think it is. And people can respond to the fact that there is care and they're feeling the care, that transmits well.
Men? Richard, could you touch a bit on men and their
Yeah. Well, I was saying before when we were chatting that there was a term called metrosexual when men were becoming a little more conscious, going and get their feet done, getting their nails done, getting their locks touched up all the time. And I don't know when that consciousness about your look was aligned with, I will dare say, effeminacy. Because from time immemorial, the men dressed up more than the women. Okay? When you look at it ceremonially in the tribes, the men, it's almost like the peacock and the peahen.
Yes.
The peacock is this glorious, majestic animal, and the peahen is kind of downplayed. And when you look back in African cultures and Indo cultures and Oriental cultures, and even so in European cultures, the men were the ones who powdered their face and wore wigs and feathers, and that was only picked up later on, like in the 18th century. But the earlier centuries, the men were done. The women were like plain Janes, for want of a better word. I think it would have been definitely some kind of machismo thing, but it's a strange because they felt they're more entitled because they're the male stock to do the embellishment. But seeing about yourself doesn't have a gender, and managing your skin and managing your scent and managing your clothing and what people feel from you, your vibe, managing your vibe, that's human, you know. And as long as we are human, because invading somebody's space has many levels. Invading their space could be in you not seeing about you, coming in my space and disrupting the energy that I'm trying to create with my others. And so therefore you become a disruptor of the energy because you are seeing about yourself, either through untidy hair, rumpled clothing, ill-suited clothing, you know, bad scent, or whatever. It's an invasion of a space that everybody's trying to curate space. That's how you create friendships, curate communities. And so people need to know that they belong in another space. That's why identity is so important to me. Because when I acknowledge that you are part of an identity in work, in play, in an NGO group, or in our cohort, and we're going to mix, you're part of the group and a sense of belonging is there. That means you have to have some kind of commitment and conviction to making us all feel good in this space. It's no longer just about you. So that's why I told you, like, sometimes I meet this intellectual woman and I'm like, no, it's unacceptable. You making this choice to look less than plain Jane because your intellectual capacity is larger, is unacceptable, you know?
Richard, I want to reinforce that point you made as you talked about men. I really do believe that, I mean, we think through, the Saga boy has always been with us. Men have always, I don't know that men have not taken pride in how they look, how they present, the original shoe polishers, the hat, the shirt, the whatever it is. I think that, again, and I might be very wrong with this, is that for the media, the woman is a target, the sexual energy, the feminine energy, objectifies her, and she became the definition of what is fashion and what is self-care. But men have ruled that the barber shop existed before there ever was a hairdressing salon. In a barber shop, you got groomed, you got your hot towel on your face. Men have been the standard bearers of presenting and giving that image out, and it's just the media money-making machine
Yeah.
and
Works the other way
objectifying
around.
women.
Yeah. What you call dandyism was
Yeah.
always there. In all cultures, there is a dandy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And sartorial presentation of self, which means excellence in the craft, be it artisanal or otherwise, of your clothing fitting right
Yeah.
and being
Yeah.
imposing when you walk into the room. Not just politicians,
Those
everybody
were
walk
important
into
for
the room.
men. Those are things that
Yeah.
men needed to be
Yeah.
able to do.
You walk into the space and you hold court just by standing there, and you are well crafted. You are marked, your skin looks good, your shoulders are good, your color choice is appropriate, your shoe fit is correct, and the shoe style. And people start responding to you in the way. So you have them in the palm of your hand before you go into the engagement or the interaction. So
Exactly.
it's important for us to understand that. And the little talks like this, and what we will do when we meet at the soiree, is to reinforce it. So everybody is proselytized with this thing. When they go home, they talk a little piece, so they filter the information back out into the world. Because sometimes I think it's lost.
So
Yeah.
Richard, let's talk about our soiree, our little line. We are getting together
Independence Soirée.
at the Independence Soirée, at the Young Guild. We are
Yeah.
coming into the what I will call the crucible of creating style and fashion in this place. And you are working with us to have, I mean, we're going to have tea. I don't want to talk about what we haven't. I want to talk about the experience that people will have spending those 4 hours with you and with Jennifer and myself at that soiree, talking about our style, our independence. What are we going to get?
Yeah. I look forward to this because I look forward to new ventures and new initiatives with a thirst, because I have to constantly reinvent. I constantly have to pivot the information to suit that. And that's where the excitement or the joy is, in the transfer of the information to suit the space and the persons who are in the space. Because some of what we'll be talking, what we just spoke of here, we will talk then. But it's all connected to the vibe of the space, the people in the room, the time of the day, what was said just before. So it shifts. It shifts. The narrative is always different. And so I'm looking forward to share what, I mean, it takes a long time for me to call it expertise, because I think because we are always so apologetic, which I fight against.
It is
So
your expertise.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That people called it that, so now I'm kind of claiming it, because it is that. It is that, and I have worked for over 30 years doing this with different shapes, heights, sizes, groupings, communities, different nations and islands,
So
different
Richard,
language speaking differences and all of that.
I am going to be bold and say that because there's going to be we said an interactive fashion show, there's going to be some fashion, but we as being present will also be part of it. And would we be able to get Richard's take on our style and how we present? And if I walk in kind of clumsy, I can get some tips on how to straighten up and look nice.
Yeah, well, all of that I talk about consciously, inadvertently. It's just me. It just falls out of my mouth. So I will share. I always talk much more. I give much more than is expected, I think, in most cases.
And people can ask questions. They can come.
And people can ask questions. And we can share, because I like it not to be, as I say, teachy. I'm very, my own experience is in immersion. If we are all immersed in it, we benefit best from it that way. And so therefore you can comment on something and it spawns another discussion. And that is how we going to go home and remember things and knew where it came from. The genesis of each inquiry is different. And therefore it's really resonating. Otherwise, if it's a presentation of like a PowerPoint that I never was in favor of, even though it catches in, I could give you that in handwork to go and read, but when I'm there, I have to engage you, and we have to be I'm experiencing each other. So it's all experiential and immersive, and we
I
will
love,
chat and talk and benefit from each other.
I can't remember who said it, whether it was Jennifer or whether it was you, but it is really discovering your state of independence through style. So
Yeah.
that's what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Jennifer?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's really a story with a difference. It is about, as you say, style, is about fashion, is about, well, we find in our own style with Richard being there, pointing out certain things and we can chat while enjoying our sitting, sipping, chatting,
And for
styling.
men and women. And
Yeah,
for men and women.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
say, we have that independence team, so we have some color coordination. It would be so much fun and it's different. So Richard, sure, I know our followers be all excited to get your take on what we wear and to see how, especially as you mentioned before in the fashion show that you had for for emancipation, where you actually used older, well, experienced two models.
Yeah.
That so that we have poise, we have style. This is what we're about. We love to dress and look good.
Yeah.
So
And when we dress and look good, we just not only representing ourselves, we represent, as you say, the cohort, our entire cohort.
Yes.
So, because when somebody sees Jennifer dress going down the road, whether it is in local palace and they say, them old people and them real keep themselves looking good, that means you are representative of a larger cohort. And that would be the loose tongue on the street. And it's not even disrespectful, even though he say old people. He meaning that in spite of what I might have thought about a woman who is older is going down, she keeping up.
Yeah.
You understand? So
definitely.
you have to be representative of the larger cohort when you're presenting. So that's another way I like to look at it. You're representing, you're standing for your people. And so being a little older has nothing to do with your sense of self, your sense of expression, your sense of identity, and your sense of style.
Definitely. I think with that, we can remind everyone that on Sunday, the 24th of August, we are celebrating, Connections 50 Plus is celebrating independence and style from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Young Gill Shops of Maraval. If you don't know Shops of Maraval, take a Maraval taxi, tell them drop you by Hilo. Hilo. Walk right up to the back. And you will have an experience definitely worth it. Food, drinks, entertainment, and fun, learning from each other, and of course from Richard. So
I look forward.
We do too. Richard, thank you so very much. Very much. We are excited and looking forward to this and hoping that everyone comes out and really have a great time. Jennifer?
Yeah, no, I'm looking for, I'm all excited. I love the fashion. I like to dress up and go out.
It's always a pleasure with you all. Always a pleasure. We have created some memorable times and always was imaginative. And that's what I like. We have to keep on the edge. And it doesn't mean that we stop because we're a little older.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Richard. Okay.
Yes.
Jennifer, I'm now even more excited about our our soiree, you know. Everybody come with their sense of style and purpose and reflect on, what is it? Declare your state of independence in style.
In style. Yeah.
Definitely.
And poise. I like that.
Yeah. So everybody, you all know the numbers, but here is our ad, and we look forward to having you join us with Richard on Sunday, the 24th of August from 2 to 6 at the Young Girl. So until then, go check out your style. Take care. Bye. Bye.
Hi friends, Connections 50 Plus invites you to Independence in Style, a red, white and black soiree. Relax and have fun celebrating Trinidad and Tobago's independence with style and flair. It's on Sunday the 24th of August from 2 to 6 p.m. at the Young Guild, Shops of Maraval. Enjoy a curated tea box with your choice of teas and cold beverages. Be entertained with music, games, and an interactive fashion show featuring renowned stylist Richard Young. Come dress in your finest red, white, and black combo. Cost is only $3.75. Space is limited, so book early. Call Jennifer at 685-8834 or Terry-Ann at 682-9202. Let's sip, style, and celebrate our independence. See you there.
50 Plus Tribe and follow us from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye for now.